Hi, my name is Kira. Welcome back to my channel. We will be reading Foiled by Jane Yolen, illustrated by Mike Cavallero. One, engagement. I want to tell you this story. No, I have to tell you this story. It's about yesterday when I went on a date with Avery Castle, carrying my weapon. It's a fencing foil my mom found at a tag sale, and I lost it in Grand Central Station. No, I didn't leave it in Avery's heart, though I was tempted. After all, he's still up and walking around, whole and wholly beautiful. Nothing stains that handsome face, nothing scars it, as long as he remains in the light. And that's what he wants now, to remain in the light. I saw him yesterday in study hall, and he was kissing Sally Collins, who is not actually a skank, though I want to believe she is. The story I have to tell you is not about Avery. It's about me and fencing and what I learned while masked. It's about defense and defenders. It's about power, and I don't mean electricity. It's about family. Most grown-ups will tell you things are revealed when you take off a mask. But they're wrong, as they often are. Everything was revealed when I put my fencing mask on in Grand Central Station. Everything. About that tag sale. My mom goes to dozens of them. Tag sales, moving sales, old bookstores, rag shops. She practically lives at the Salvo, the Salvation Army store. My father says she likes to borrow other people's history, since she doesn't know her own. Instant ancestors. She got those at an auction in a dead person's apartment. Ugh. Doesn't that make you shudder? It does me. I mean, my Aunt Hannah, her sister, doesn't go to all those sales. Doesn't need a fake history. Just because their mother died young and they had to go into care. Sometimes I wish I was in care. At least then there'd be a reason for having so much secondhand stuff around. Like this. I have no idea how my mom finds out about these sales. Newspaper ads? Signs on telephone poles? Censors? Obituary notices? The morgue? All I know is that this sale was held at a school, and a Chinese lady and her daughter were selling household items. You know, broken down chairs, old teapots, dresses 2 sizes too small for them. Oh yes, and a fencing foil. Don't you just love the jewel? But it was only $2, and I needed a new practice foil. And those things cost anywhere from $18 to $50. And up new. Fencing is not a cheap sport. 2. Invicto. Something else you need to know. A foil is not the only sword fencers use, but it's the modern version of the original practice weapon for dueling. Fencing foil is very technical, which is why I like it. Aggression is not the only way to power to a win. When fencing with a foil, the valid hit must be scored on the opponent's torso with the blade's point. Hitting someone on her legs, arms, or face mask does not count. It's a hard thing to remember when all you want to do is smash your opponent's face in. To maim. To kill. Ah! Just kidding. But it does take control, precision. In competitive fencing, we wear a metallic vest with body cord that runs from the weapon through the jacket and out the back like a tail. That tail plugs into a machine. The hits are registered by electrical impulses. It takes very little but controlled movement by a good technical fencer to score points. Trust me, I know. There is a difference between a fencing tournament where a swordswoman has to be the aggressor to win, and in, well, life, where she is a defender. One is a sport and one is not. I have been fencing since I was 11 years old. My school was on the 6th floor walk-up of a building without air conditioning. That summer was brutally hot. Put a mask and jacket on a fencer under those conditions and only the most determined survive. That was the summer I made the junior team. I did more than survive. I prevailed. We didn't have enough money for me to go to fencing camp, so I stayed with the hellish 6th floor walk-up. I beat girls older than me, and most of the boys too. My teacher, a shaggy, Hagrid kind of guy named Chris, told me I could go far. Far? He didn't say nationals. He didn't have to. It was in the way he whispered the word. I nodded, taking off my mask, wiping the sweat off my eyes. I didn't smile at him, and he didn't smile at me. It wasn't that kind of relationship. It's all about protecting the heart. Ilaria, you must always protect your heart. Yeah. The heart, remember? Perhaps I remembered a little too well. Then I put the mask back on and faced my next opponent, a redhead 7th grader, Stephen Grady, who liked to remind me his name isn't pronounced Stefan. Of course, that made me want to call him that all the more. He thought he was the dread pirate Roberts from The Princess Bride. Lots of flash and dash and even a bit of shouting. He should have studied saber instead of foil. They tend to yell as loud as they want and act like idiots. Whack, whap. Aye, ow! Wow. Guys, why are they always so guyish? My father enjoyed how I stood there calmly beating kids way older than me. Go, Ilaria, atta girl! I wish she'd apply that concentration to her schoolwork. I was 11. I didn't have that much homework, and what I had was boring. Who needed to know the names of all the state capitals anyways? I knew the name of ours, Albany. That was enough. Three, point and line. Now I go to the smallest high school in the city, and we still have cliques. Even though most of us have been in school together for, well, forever. There are the jocks and jockettes, but fencing doesn't count. The Goths, but I don't look good in black. The nerds, but my grades aren't high enough. And the preps, ugh. I'm fine alone. Of course, I had to have special permission to bring a weapon to school. It's peace bonded. That's what Miss Pussy, the vice principal, calls it. My bag has a special lock on it. I wear the key around my neck. That's so James Bond. And like James Bond, I was a loner. That was okay. Okay until the start of 10th grade, that is. A new boy came to school, Avery. Avery Castle. Is that a name or what? He shouldn't have been in Hallowell High. He should have been in the movies. He was definitely the cat among the pigeons. Girls fell into his path as if by magic, and it didn't matter whether they were jockettes, goths, nerds, or preps. He had a smile, a big smile, full of teeth. Sometimes it seemed too many teeth. That's a joke, or maybe not. 150 years ago, the girls all be dropping handkerchiefs in front of his Nikes, or what passed for Nikes back then. He had cheeks like a baby's butt, soft looking, almost not real at all. I mean, all the other boys in our class had the beginnings of beards, mustaches, at least peach fuzz, even the nerdy guys. But Avery had nothing. There was a moment when I wondered if he was trans or something. Of course, that was before I saw him running track with his shirt off. Nothing trans about him. He must have been pumping iron every day, or so I figured then. I've always thought that looks don't matter. Maybe because mine don't. So I forgot about him. Yeah, right. The world doesn't work that way, in case you haven't noticed. Ring! Name? Carstairs. Over there. It turned out that the beautiful Avery and I were lab partners. Carstairs and Castle. Mr. Potter always pairs people alphabetically by last name. Carstairs and Castle. We sound like a dance team. Only I don't dance. Fence, yes. Read, yes. Role-playing games, yes. But dance never happened. At least not with a boy or anyone. Just me alone in my room, not even looking at the mirror. Prince Charming all the way. Maybe he can't help it. I mean, if he's being charming to me, it must be like a dripping faucet he can't turn off. Frankly, it gives me the shivers. He's working it too hard. Why are you smiling at me? What's wrong with smiling? Are you afraid? I'm not afraid of you. Maybe you should be. No, not afraid. Terrified. Actually, he made me tremble, and I wasn't sure why. Suddenly, irrational as it was, I wish I had my weapon in my hand, the practice weapon, with a stupid jewel. Avant! I'd never actually heard that pronounced, only seen it written in fantasy novels. What next? Would he talk about gibbering monsters and tessellated castle walls, Icor and the Fae? Allery cartels. That name's familiar. Do I know you? Protect the heart, Allery. How can you know me? You just got to Hallowell. Still. Come and get 'em. One of you does the surgery, the other does the writery. This is not a gender issue. Groan. Surprise me, ladies and gentlemen. Ugh. Eek. Ribbit. Idiot. Surprise me. Enough with the surprises. I'll take that. Don't worry. It won't move. Ever again. What an odd thing to say. I don't mind cutting up dead things. In fact, I enjoy it. Better than live things? Those two. Is he trying to make me shudder? Pax. You speak the old tongue, huh? I don't mind writing down the results. I hope you say that. Better he does the cutting. I'm colorblind and might miss something. I mean, gray is gray after all. We're going to be great partners. Partners? Flutter. The sound of an unguarded heart. Oh, lab partners. This will be a riveting lesson, kids. Groan. Funny man, not. He's got to be kidding. Save me. Don't disappoint me, ladies and gentlemen. I want your total concentration. Oh, God. I need this class to get into Yale. I need a drink. I need a joint. I need a hall pass. Every time I tried to say something to Avery, I began to stutter. I'd never been that close to such a handsome guy before. In fact, the only boys I'd been close to were the ones I'd beaten with my weapon, if you can call that close. Like Steph Hen Grady, who's now in the 10th grade and sometimes looks at me funny when we fence. I could hear Chris's voice once again in my ear. Protect your heart, Ilaria. Too late. Now, I know where I know you from. Read about you in Inklings. You're the defender with the sword. So you can read. A hit. A palpable hit. Guess I'm lucky you didn't bring your sword to lab, Ilaria. I might get skewered. We call it a weapon. Do you skewer all the guys with your weapon? Do you smile at every girl you see? I asked first. Actually, I'm not good with guys, except for beating them in fencing. And I'm very good at that. Now, why did I say that? I bet you are. Did I say he's gorgeous? Well, he was. Then he stared at me with eyes so sharp they looked like little planets lit from behind by a giant sun. Dazzling. His skin was flawless. His teeth must have been whitened professionally. They gleamed. He really was too good looking to be true. Yet there he was, my partner, lab partner, that is. I forgot what it is. So answer my question. Do you smile at every girl you see? These days I do, whenever I can. Yeah, these days. You seem good with guys to me. Yeah, well, touche. I was back to stuttering, heartfully exposed. This book is funny. Phew! That frog's so full of formaldehyde. It's hard to believe it's ever been a living entity. Nothing to be afraid of, see? It's just like rubber. I dub thee the rubber prince. No, Prince Prince condom. That made me giggle. I don't giggle well. I sound more like an old horse than a girl, all snorts and snuffles. Then he stuck a pencil up the frog's butt and made it flop around. That was so brutal and odd. It stopped my giggles cold. We spent a month on the frog. I was a careful recorder. Day 1, frog hair. I want to be elsewhere. Day 3, we identify outside parts. I draw them in the journal. Day 5, first slice. I prefer pizza. Day 8, we identify inside parts. Liver, intestine, kidneys, brain, ick factor high. Day 10, stomach contents, flies and more flies. Or flecks, or fleas, or flora, all looking like fluff. Yuck factor high. By the time we were halfway done, Prince was in pieces and I was in love with Avery, not the frog. It didn't matter that he was occasionally odd. I like odd, and his oddness was outweighed by his beauty. Yes, beauty. If you'd asked me last summer if a boy could be beautiful, I'd have laughed. But that was before I met Avery. I certainly kept my guard up outside of class and didn't speak to him anywhere but in lab. Every verbal thrust I parried. I doubt he knew how I felt, or maybe he assumed all the girls felt that way, so it didn't matter. It mattered. Day 12, Avery carved away Frog's googly orbs. The prince has eyeballed his last fly. Day 17, Flippers flinched. Eyeball. Flinched. That's a word I learned in English class when we studied Moby Dick. I explained it to Avery. It was odd he hadn't had to read it in his old school, it being a classic and all. Plus, he seemed to know other strange words. Smart as well. I should have expected that. He didn't say as well as what. That hurt, but it didn't matter. I was used to hurt. You can't fence and not get hurt. My mother still flinches at all my bruises, but I wear them like medals. Does love need an explanation? How should I know? I had nothing to go on. No boys had ever looked twice at me, except maybe Steph Hen. And now that I think of it, he probably was only looking at me to find a flaw in my fencing technique. He is gorgeous, Sally. Yeah. Doesn't know a rat's about kissing, though. Like he learned it from a book. Bet he knows better now. Next time we go on a picnic, he'll be bringing a tongue sandwich. Whatever they said, it didn't matter. Whenever I saw Avery on the track, in the auditorium, even at lunch, my stomach would drop somewhere below my knees in one swell foop. That's something my dad always says. I never understood it before. Maybe Chris should have told me to protect my stomach, not my heart. In the lab, I'd replace the stuttering with a kind of ironic commentary. I knew as little about kissing as Avery did, and while he was learning with Sally, I had a distinct feeling, which is somewhere between actually knowing something and a big sloppy guess, that I never have a chance to find out. What I knew was something about attacks and lunges, about parrying, and a bit about defense, but not enough. The prince, formerly known as Frog. The prince is no longer charming. You're some funny girl. I've never known anyone or anything this funny. Anything. You know what I mean. But suddenly I didn't. Okay, so, not so funny. Were you expecting Chris Rock or Ellen DeGeneres? Even they weren't funny in the 10th grade, and maybe Avery was simply an easy audience, or just plain simple. It didn't stop me from making jokes though. 4. Prize defer. My regular daily schedule was to leave school right after my last class and go to fencing. If that sounds boring, it wasn't. It's just what I did, what I like to do. To get to fencing practice meant taking 2 buses and 2 subways, though it only takes 1 subway and 1 bus to get home. If that sounds like some strange magic, trust me, it's nothing but the New York City transit system at work. Saturdays, I spend most of the day fencing, then head to my Aunt Hannah's and cousin Carolyn's house in Brooklyn Heights. A lot of fencing, you're thinking. If you want to go to nationals, if you want to get far, it's necessary. Sundays, I usually just veg out at home. Currently reading Tamora Pierce. Currently listening Lorena McKinnett, Inya and Amy DeFranco in rotation. I don't watch much TV. About those Saturdays at Aunt Hannah's, I do role-playing games with my cousin Corlin, who's 2 years younger than me. She's had rheumatoid arthritis for as long as I can remember. I may fence, but she's always been the brave one. Right. When we play, Carolyn's always the queen. I'm captain of her guard, the expert swordswoman. Xena of Xenon, not much of a stretch, but it's fun in a dorky sort of way. We play with more passion than it deserves, than either of us ever really understand. I love Carolyn. We've done role-playing since she was really young, and that makes our Saturdays an unbreakable date, like a promise or an oath, and it gives Aunt Hannah time off to go shopping or whatever. Like Carolyn, Aunt Hannah never complains. Xena rolls and gets 10 magic points. But she'll never be as smart as Queen Furby, or as magical as her wizard cat who speaks all the animal languages of the world. She says beware of the frogs and Princess. Meow! I'd been entertaining Carolyn with stories about the lab and Avery. She sounded a little jealous. I thought you were going to show me your new sword. Weapon, sorry. I'm sort of in a hurry. Okay, but we have to be quick. Big date. Nope, fencing tournament tomorrow. What's that? Wow, your mom sure knows how to shop. Except for the jewel. It's the best weapon I've ever had. French grip, of course. Of course. I'm going to hack off the ruby. Sand down the place where it was glued, and then it will be the perfect weapon for a defender. I had no idea what I meant. I mean, what was I defending except my heart? It's perfect the way it is. Like you. Don't be silly. In my eyes, you are perfect, and my eyes work, unlike the rest of me. That wasn't a complaint. It was a simple statement. Meow. Perfect is what the wizard cat calls you. And of course, we all believe a cat. Done already. She has a tournament tomorrow. Ah, beauty sleep needed. Yeah, that'll help. You have to stop putting yourself down so much, Allie. You are a strong, smart, beautiful young woman. Right. Emphasis on strong. Just what gorgeous guys like Avery are interested in. and tonight's early to bed beauty rest will make me the Queen's defender. Good luck in the tournament, my hero. See you next Saturday. Of course, my queen. When have I ever missed? Only when you're in tournaments, mighty Xena. But of course, I forgive you that. It brings glory to the kingdom. And there was last year when I had pneumonia. But I'm fine now. I should bite my tongue talking about health problems with Carolyn, who never complains about herself, ever. Hi everyone, I'm home. Anyone here? And the Latchley champion returns, unwanted, unnoted, and unsung. Ugh. What's with this thing? That must be some super glue. Clatter, clatter, bang, whoosh. Sorry, sweetie. You beat us home. We were grocery shopping. And a quick trip to the salvo. It's not like I bought anything there this time. Anything wrong, honey? Sounds like a full-scale war in there. No war, just a tiny weapon problem. Weapon problem, Mom? Not your new sword. I really had to bargain the woman down. She said her daughter loved playing with it when she was younger, but they were going for an iPod now. Weapon, Mom. Weapon. I never did get that jewel off, but as it was a practice weapon, not the electrified one I use in tournaments, it didn't matter. What surprised me was that the jewel didn't overbalance the foil. In fact, in some strange way, it seemed to help. My practices went really well, and when it came to the tournament, I placed second overall. Only got beaten by a college kid who was on the national team. Chris was pleased about my placing second, not about my being beaten. You need to work more on defense, Allie. So now you know all about my so-called life. School, fencing, more fencing, to Carolyn's, and home. Which is why the next Friday, right before school was out, when Avery asked me to a movie, I forgot all about protecting my heart. Chris was right about my weak defense. So, Al, you busy tomorrow? Saturday? Yes. No. Why? Would you like to go to a movie with me? I had to think about logistics. How to get out of the last half of fencing. How to lie convincingly to Carolyn and Aunt Hannah. How to get cleaned up enough after fencing to go on a date. My first time out with a boy, with Avery. So, it's a date. Okay. But I'll have to get there after fencing class and meet you somewhere, and I'll have to bring my weapon. Awesome. I've never gone out with a girl with a weapon. I've never gone out with a boy, period. I didn't say that out loud, of course. Avery wouldn't have thought that was awesome at all. though it's true. Can I see it? The weapon? Are you crazy? It's peace bonded. I can't just pull out my weapon in school. Do you know what that would do to me? Draw and quarter you? Pike your head? Put you in the Iron Maiden? Waterboard you? What are you talking about? How about throw me out of school, permanent record? Oops, there goes my college fencing scholarship. Okay, I wasn't thinking. You can show it to me some other time. Am I forgiven? I took his hand and felt a jolt of electricity run through me. I suddenly thought about hormones. Male, female. If this was love, why did it feel like electrocution? Meet me at Grand Central Station, main concourse, at the information booth. Tomorrow, Saturday. Too much information, Ilaria. You're blabbering. Concourse? He said it as if he'd never heard the word before, or at least never heard it spoken aloud. I can be there by 4. Yeah, if I could get out of my final hour of fencing, and as long as Carolyn and Aunt Hannah didn't make a fuss. Carolyn, Queen Furby. My heart sank when I thought of her waiting for her champion, who was more interested in a boy than. But my heart didn't sink as much as it should have. Saturday at 4 it is. A date with a girl with a sword. Weapon! Whatever. He's lucky I don't have it to hand. Five, derobement. I didn't do well in fencing practice that Saturday. The new foil with the jewel felt odd in my hand, as if I had no right to it, or no right yet. And of course, how could I concentrate anyway? Things seemed to have shifted inside me, if nowhere else. I worried about my clothes, about not washing my hair. Like an idiot, I'd forgotten to bring shampoo. I worried about hauling my fencing bag around with me on a date. Fencing school has a rule about not leaving personal equipment overnight. Courtney Aquadro, who had never scored a single touch on me before, scored 2. Maddie Pat, who is 2 years younger than me, almost beat me. That never happened before. Chris called me aside. I whipped off my mask. My hair was plastered to my skull. I felt icky and ugly, not ready for any kind of date, especially not one with Avery the Beautiful. Ilaria Carstairs, what do you think you're doing? Or not doing? I was protecting my heart. Defense, yes. But sometimes you have to risk all to win. I thought you understood that. Perhaps you need to sit down, or go home, or rethink your commitment. I'll do better. Score. I didn't do any better, and Chris sent me packing. Some defender I turned out to be. Never mind. More time for getting ready for my date with beautiful Avery, who somehow is attracted to a woman with a weapon. I didn't like to think about that last item too closely. I might not like what I found. So I ate 2 butterscotch candies. After fencing, I always need a bit of sugar to shock my system. Most of the other kids drink that blue power drink, but It looks too much like Windex to me. I took a long shower in the school's tacky bathroom, with its missing towels and the shower head that spits out lukewarm water, winter and summer. After toweling off, I got into fresh clothes actually. They weren't all that fresh because of being stuffed into my bag. Queen Furby, I'm not going to get there today. No, I I feel fine, really. Actually, I have a date. Yes, with a boy. Yeah, a kind of prince, the one in the lab. Okay, I'll promise I'll tell you everything. Not that there will be, well, anything to tell. Nothing X-rated, sure. Next Saturday? Absolutely. My hair is still wet, clothes a bit pungent, flushed from all the exercise. I left for my big date. I was hauling the bag in which I had my dirty clothes, wet towel, breast protector, underarm protector, knickers, glove, mask, jacket, possibly because no one but me wanted to be opposite the guy who was showing a piece of his anatomy that looked remarkably like the frog after we halfway through skinning him. I was ready to throw up, or give up, or get up and leave the train, but I had made it, with 15 minutes to spare. Butterscotch candies, 2 body cords, 2 electric foils, and my new practice foil with a stupid jewel that would not come off. No one gave me a seat on the bus, though I got a seat on the subway. Hauled the bag and my now quaking self up the stairs and into Grand Central Station. Six, lunch. 15 minutes late. Of course, he's often late to lab too. I'm not worried. Yet. After all, this is New York. Trains and buses are always slow. Traffic is regularly gridlocked. If this were Camelot or Middle Earth or Harry Potter Land or Queen Furby's Kingdom, besides, real guys, well, they have no sense of time. Or so I've been told by my mother. I unzipped my bag and got out the butterscotch candies, but as another 15 minutes went by, I stopped watching the clock and started watching the people. Watching people is something I'm good at. Dating them, evidently bad. Most of the folks rushing for trains were dressed in grays and browns and blacks, or at least that's how I saw them. As if train catching demanded a uniform. But occasionally, oddly, someone hurried by. Almost as if flying. One dark-skinned woman with a coin-trimmed head dress hurtled past me. I nodded at her. She seemed surprised, almost stunned, that I noticed her. Maybe she was new in town, and other New Yorkers hadn't been as friendly. Or maybe we knew one another from a past life. That's a joke. Or at least I thought it was. Remember, I'm not a stand-up comic. Not even close. Whoosh. That was close. Whoosh. Sometimes birds, pigeons, and sparrows mostly, though occasionally a hawk, get stuck in Grand Central, having flown in through an open door. The last thing I need is for some bird to poop on my shirt. Bad enough, the shirt's rumpled. Bad enough, it's still slightly damp where my hair dripped. Of course, Avery's a guy, and so might not notice. But even he could never miss white droppings down my front. Whoosh. Get out of here! Ow! It was larger than a sparrow, larger than a pigeon. It had a long tail that curled down. There was kind of a shadow around it which made it hard to see. Hey! Come back here! Wait a minute. This should keep me safe. And that's when everything changed. As I looked through the dark mesh of the mask, I saw that the bird was not a bird at all. It was a... This is crazy. I can see color and a small red dragon that flew to the ground pounced on the butterscotch I dropped and flew off again. Greetings, Defender. Am I going crazy? Hey, lady, back at ya. Can butterscotch do that to you, or something in the city's water, or hormones? Defender, come at thee from behind, Defender. What on earth? Not on your earth, Defender, but mine. Use thy sword. Yeah, right. Maybe someone's doing a video. Though how she knows I've got a weapon? Oh, right. The fencing school logo's on my bag. Good. You mean to use that weapon. The other weapons in the bag are electric. Ah, you say electric when you mean power. No power to them unless there's somewhere to plug it in. I do not understand. She doesn't understand. Just tell that thing not to mess with me. I don't do videos without signing some sort of release form. No form, no release. Gridox of the Dark Cloud, the Defender, Xena, wishes me to tell you that you should not make messes with her. She does not release you. If she knows me as Xena, she must have been talking to Carolyn or Aunt Hannah. These video guys are through. So, okay, I'll go along with the gag right now, but boy, are they going to hear from me next Saturday. Snap. Ready? Or so I thought. Perry? Riposte? I don't know. 7. Perry Riposte. Riposte. I don't know what this word is. Never heard this word. Someone let me know what this word is in the comments, because I don't know what it is. Anyways, back to the story. Gotcha. How do they do that? Oof. Whoosh. And guard, for real, you bastard. Gridlock or whatever your name is. Of course, this is all crazy. And if anyone sees me waving a sword about in Grand Central, I'm in deep. I wish Chris had seen that. I'd be on my way to nationals right now. I heard someone clapping, turned, expecting to see the lady in the gold crown, or someone else equally bizarre. But she was gone, and suddenly, oof, I was hit from behind. Oh, okay. Counter, riposte. I knew you were weird, Ilaria, but after the grief you gave me about catching a peek at your sword in school, you draw it out here in Grand Central Station? Weapon, damn it! And where's it gone? Not exactly what I expected for a first date, a full body tackle. All I felt was an awful heaviness, much heavier than a boy Avery's size should weigh, and a husky oof in my ear. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned may I carry your fencing bag, Ilaria? I would even have settled for that stomach-falling sensation again, or the electric shock treatment that happened when we first shook hands. And what are you doing on top of me anyway? Oh, for God's sake, Ilaria, shut up. Didn't you see all the cops when you came in? They probably think you're a major terrorist. And me too, for being with you. You're not with me. You're on me. Get off. Get off. I'm off. Maybe they'll think you're the hero. Hero? Capturing the girl with the weapon and all. Oh, that kind of hero. What other kind of hero was there except the sandwich? But I had to use my weapon. I was attacked by a cloud. Or maybe it was an ogre. Well, a something anyway. See? Get it off me! Get it off! I hate tight things around my head. And it smells of sweat and... It smells of me, you creep! You called me a creep? You said I was weird. I'll tell you what's weird. There are people with wings here. And troll-like things in color. And I don't do color. Things? Troll-like things. I misspoke, Ilaria. You're not weird. You're downright crazy. I think it might be a TV thing. What do you mean you don't do color? I'm colorblind, at least I was. That's not possible. What's not possible? Some people just are. Like you were born with beauty. And Carolyn with a wasting disease. That's crazy. No. I sound crazy, but I'm not. Sound? Listen to you. People with wings, for God's sake. Troll things? Put on the mask and you'll see. No mask. No. No. I get it. You're claustrophobic. Smack. I'm not phobic. Just because I don't like tight, smelly... Are you listening to yourself? Eat rocks and die. Elegant comeback, Prince Charming. Now, where's my weapon? It's worth more than you. I know. The mask smells comforting, like winning. You do know what winning smells like. I win plenty, on the track. And I never smell like that. I told you there'd be cops. Let's go. I can't go without my weapon. Just let it go. Forget the stupid sword. Weapon. Whatever. I can't just let it go. Why not? Why not? Because of Mom and her need to buy old things. Aunt Hannah, who has spent her life taking care of her disabled child. Carolyn, who counts on me. Chris, who teaches me. Dad, who applauds me. Why not? Indeed. Because I'm the defender, I guess. Whoomp. Turn left. No, the other left. Not the subway. No. It's the only way we'll lose them. And me. You can do it, old man. A hero would have offered to carry my bag. I'm no hero, Ilaria. Ain't nothing but a sandwich. Definitely weird. Definitely illiterate. I don't get it. Yes, he's gorgeous. Yes, he's funny. Yes, I feel something when he's around, like electricity, or as the strange lady said, power. But he's mean, unstable, afraid of closed-in spaces, and a complete egoist. Who needs that? But he's also the only guy who's ever asked me out. Avery, can you see? How can you see anything with that stupid mask on? Take it off. Take it off now. You are definitely not the boss of me, Mr. Not Hero. Besides, why are you being so mean? You were the one who asked me on a date. Some date. Grand Central Station, swords, cops. Hey, you like the idea of the weapon. Yeah. If you'd handed it to me when I asked. Handed it to you? It's my weapon, jerk. I don't just go handing it off to anyone who asks. Nevertheless, who outside of classic novels says, nevertheless? It's so beautiful. Magic at my fingertips. Why can't he see that? How do I get my weapon back? Nine, coup de temps. Now you see what you've done? I've done. If you'd moved faster. Hey, stop. Oh my God. What are they doing? Kids. I can't, Ilaria. Not a dark tunnel. At least the station has lights. Yeah, and cops. The tunnel is close and smelly. He'll never make it alone. Here, take my hand. Don't hate me. How could I? You will. Watch out for the third rail. Which one is that? I guess a defender defends everyone. Maybe I should hate you. You think I'm weird. For God's sake, look at yourself, Ilaria. I tried to see myself as Avery must have. Filthy shirt and jeans with a mask still on. Yup, definitely weird. No, I don't hate you, but it was a pity date, wasn't it? Not a pity date. A thank you date. A thank you date. Your notes got me through biology, Ilaria. If I flunked, I was off the track team for the whole season. Probably out of school too, and I couldn't stand that. But you were the one who cut up the frog. I like cutting dead things. Besides, anyone can cut. I can't, not without my sword, and as you may recall, it's missing. You can't think that's my fault. You can't, Ilaria. Oh my God, you can't. And why can't I? Mister, I'm so beautiful and I need to be out of the dark and into the light castle. Who was desperate to hold my weapon? Who asked me for a date? Who tackled me in Grand Central Station? All around me was now much darker, though perhaps it was just the tunnel. Yet, even in the darkness, I think I saw Avery for the first time. I realized with a start that he was on the track team to outrun the darkness, that he was charming and kissed girls to keep away fear. Only I didn't quite understand then what darkness and what fear were consuming him. The girls, the cheers, reminded him how alive he was, but they reminded him too that he wasn't a hero. He was something else. I just didn't know what then. Suddenly, I wondered if I fenced for some of the same reasons, or just because I liked the feel of a weapon in my hands. Ten, Esclave. It's a train! Screech! I hate rats! Whap! Screech! Screech! Spack! What was that all about? The rats? The green glass crown? You don't know. You really don't know. Know what? I gotta go, Ilaria. I've gotta get out of here. The dark, the space, it's getting to me. But you're in the lighted station now, and let me go, Ilaria. I'm not keeping you. You are, though you don't know. No, it not. I was made for you. Just say it. Say it. Say what? That you let me go. What bull? No, that's not it. You've got another date. Yeah, well, that too. Sally Collins? Ilaria, I don't do subways. I don't do dark places. I am no longer made for them. I was made for you. Only you. The others are a distraction. Tell me I may go. Only you can set me free. Go. Go. Get out of here. I don't want you. I need you not. I was fully glamored, Ilaria, and sent for your sword. It is a sword of the kingdom of Healthden, not a foil for fencing. The jewel in its hilt keeps the Seelie court safe and your world in balance. My court, the unseelie, wants to disturb that balance. What in the world is a Seelie court? Not in your world, but in mine. The ones in gold and red, whose defender you are. The unseelie are the bad guys? Come on, how can that be true? That's a real ruby? Very real, as I was not. But I love being human, being handsome, being the hero. I do not want to be what I was before. If I stay here in the dark, I'll go back to being a troll? Go, Avery, go! I don't care about the sword, weapon, whatever. Just go, Avery. Stay beautiful in the light. 11. Remiss. You were supposed to be a prince, damn it. Don't hate me. In the light, I still may be. But I will know what you really are. And so will you. I was right, but it didn't make me feel any better saying it. Am I crazy? Fairies, trolls, kingdoms. A jewel that keeps the world in balance, hot glued to what looks like a practice foil. That's for a role-playing game, not real life. And how did it get into my hands? A tag cell my mother just happened on? Surely the world's defender doesn't rely on a set of coincidences. I must be crazy. As I watched out the window, even without the mask, I could still see movements of pure color at various stations. That's how I knew that some of the magic was now within me, not just in the mask or some of the craziness. Hard to tell them apart. But I still had, no idea what it all meant. I wondered what I could tell my parents about the missing weapon. Foils aren't cheap, you know, unless you can find them at an awfully convenient tag sale. Also, I bet Aunt Hannah already phoned my parents about my not coming to her house. Not just weird, Ilaria, but stupid too. No, just stupid. Just disappointed. Disappointed more in Avery than in me, after all. Who's the hero here? Not me. Not me. I'm not a hero any more than Avery is. All I did was lose my sword and run. Xena of Xenon wouldn't have done that, but Ilaria of New York City did. Not a defender of anything except herself. I don't deserve, but you will, Lady Xena. After all, you defeated your opponent. First touch to you. Opponent? Do you mean Avery? But I just let him go. Any young woman would have fallen for his charms, as you have seen in your academy. You mean how the girls in school were all over him? It was a powerful glamour. But we placed our hopes on you. After all, the defender, an expert swordswoman, is made of sterner stuff, as you proved, and gracious too, so he is now beholden to you. Beholden to me? What does that mean? You are his liege lord now. You may command him at will. You may question him and expect true answers, as long as you frame the questions correctly. He will hold your back one time because he owes you that. More I cannot say. Can't say or won't say. There are rules in our world that work as surely as gravity works in your own. Command Avery to do what? And to whom? It is a scary thought. Actually, we worked very hard to get that sword to you. But the tag cell? I don't believe in coincidences, you know. The sword and ruby were sold to your mother by a cousin, though she knows it not. It had to be bought fairly or given freely, otherwise you would not hold it even now. There you're wrong. I only have one cousin, Carolyn. Her mother and my mother are sisters. My father is an only child, and besides, the woman who sold the weapon to my mother was Chinese, with a Chinese daughter. Ha! Though the Chinese girl does not carry your blood, you are cousins by law. And while blood is all that concerns us and help them. In your world, law takes precedence. And by blood, you and your cousin are the defenders. Your grandmother was the last defender before you with her sister. You must ask the troll what happened to them. I am not allowed to tell you more. It is the slayer who must tell you, but think carefully how you ask, lest you set him free of all obligation. I think I prefer the rule of law. All you need to know is the ruby. It is yours now, defender. We mean you to have it and give it freely. Guard it well, you and your cousin. 12. Disengagement. We will keep an eye on you and yours. Pop. Healthdom. Hero. Glamour. That's some hallucination. Defender. Either I'm crazy or... Ow! I just realized the fairy woman said first touch to me. Does that mean there will be more? Win any bouts, Ilaria? Have a good day, Ilaria? Does madness run in our family? No, just a bit of weirdness. On her side, mine is perfectly normal. Except for your great Aunt Alice and that damn rabbit hole. And your great aunt, who disappeared. Maybe she went into the rabbit hole too. Or turned into a red queen. Have a good day, Ilaria. Win any bouts, Ilaria? No. Not really. Well, maybe. First touch on a troll. Got a magic sword with a ruby that keeps the world in balance. Met a winged woman. Found out I'm the defender of worlds. Other than that, it was an okay day. Oh yeah, I had my first date. Ever. Sort of. So, I seem to be a defender with my cousin. Though whether it's my Chinese cousin or Carolyn, I don't know. But next Saturday, I'll take Carolyn out in her wheelchair if it's warm enough and let her wear the mask. If she's the other defender, she's going to love what she sees. Better than a role-playing game any day. Maybe I'll hand her the sword with the jewel, too. Fairly given. After all, she's already a queen. The end. Thanks for watching and listening. And if there's any books that you really want me to read, please let me know in the comments down below. And I hope you enjoyed this. Bye!